So I don't know if you can all hear me here. I'm up here at Ligonier, and I'm at one of the hills. Okay, I know that you can see a lot better there. I'm on top of the cemetery in this hill, and over there, if you look at the house, the White House, up through those trees is the fort. You might be able to make it out. I'll try to zoom in here a little bit. So right there would be the fort, and you can see that they talk about, the other day I was at the grave of a Mr. McDowell. He was William McDowell. He was born in the 1760s, and he was stationed at Fort Ligonier. You can see how the fort has a great strategic aspect to it, you know, if you're traveling through here. And the story of Mr. McDowell is something I wanted to tell from the Revolutionary War. And I'll read this document here. It says, William McDowell was born about 1763 and died August 3rd, 1836. He married Elizabeth Shannon, daughter of Samuel Shannon and Elizabeth Nichols. He was a private and 16 years old when he enlisted under the future father-in-law, Samuel Shannon, at Fort Ligonier, Westmoreland County. The Revolution keeping his military association after the war and visiting through the ranks of militia to become a lieutenant colonel. But this is a story I wanted to tell. In 1779, at the height of the Indian problems around Ligonier, PA, he was only 16 years old, but was listed as private under Captain Samuel Shannon. And it says here that one of the encounters with hostile Indians is described in Colonel's first encounter, Albert, the history of Westmoreland County. And it's as follows. On a spring morning in May or June 1778 or 1779, a party of 5 left on the spring morning Fort Preservation for the hill across the Little Hannah. Glorious weather and the times of the year made the confinement of the fort and the neighboring cabins tiresome, and they forgot their danger in the earnest which they climbed the hill which rises from the stream, eager to which they climbed the hill, and they went up on this field, through the fields, with the flax that would be right across the hill here, right across here, that little field between the fort and here. So you can imagine the Little Hannah Creek actually went at a little bit of different angle, closer to the fort. And it says they were taken upon by Indians that got at the top of the hill here. They were with 4 other people. The Indians were hiding behind a log, and the young man and the young woman that they were with, they were both 2 sets of brothers and sisters. The 2 were killed. The 3rd one was killed, and the girl, he managed to have his horse with him, and she got onto the horse with him. He was struck by a bullet onto the butt of his gun, and that bullet injured his hand, so he had that injury the rest of his life. So when you look at the history of this area, and you look at it, you know, you're looking at right here, valley. It circles the way around. You got the ridge. It's the Laurel Mountain right there, and this is that hillside. Everybody wonders where Fort Preservation was, and they always say that it was over that side, and they're always thinking about the hill the fort's on and that hill. But it doesn't make any sense, because Ligonier Creek does not run through that valley, it runs through this one. So it's telling you Fort Preservation would have been probably right over, because the fort's right here. Fort Preservation would have been right about there, which is more of a fort that the people of Ligonier could stay in that wasn't military. It was more for the families, people like that. Because Ligonier wasn't a very big town at the time. William McDowell was buried in a cemetery across that way. Like if you go up here, you see the fort right here. And you go across the diamond. You cross the diamond, going towards Waterford. It's right there on the right. It's the old Ligonier Church, and his tombstone is surrounded by 6 stone fixtures and chains. So you look at the history of this area. You look at this as the hill he was on. You imagine being at the disadvantage. You're leaving the fort, you come across these fields, and you are stuck. I'm sure they did some landscaping here, but you were stuck on this hill with this being the whole time you're trying to escape. And the time you're coming here, they see you. So you have the disadvantage of that. And there's no graves for those 3 people that are mentioned. I don't find any graves actually around here prior to 1780, I think 1790. Those people would be unmarked graves somewhere, not known. God knows why. All the soldiers that died at the fort in the friendly fire incident and many other incidents are all, I don't know where they're at, but I wanted to take a day and just show you the history of this. It's not just in the books. You can come to these locations, you can get a feel for what the people felt, what they saw, and imagine just being within eyesight of the fort, knowing you're being attacked, knowing 3 of your friends were killed, and trying to compose yourself enough to get on your horse and to try and get back to the fort, and then come back later with troops and try and recover the bodies of your friends. Awful, awful thing. It's now fittingly or unfittingly a cemetery that you can visit.